There you go. All right. Comrades, you are called to order for the opening ceremonies. Comrades will now be led in prayer by our chaplain. John, can you lead us off in prayer, please?
Let us pray. The psalmist declared, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Almighty God, creator and sustainer, please accept our thanks for giving us this day and for all of its blessings. We ask that you will guide us and direct our chapter, its officers, and our actions today. Would you grant that each of us may feel our responsibility to fulfill the promises made to service-connected, disabled veterans and their families? May you bless our meeting today and grant us wisdom for any decisions that need to be made. To this end we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Comrades, attention members and guests who are veterans will get the hand salute, and all others place your right hand over your heart. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Seated. Well, first off, I want to say it is great to see all these smiling faces in here. No mask. It's nice to see you. And those of you online, thank you for joining us today. And before we get started, a few things. Comrades, as a reminder, we are here to address only matters specific to our organization. All discussions must be relevant to our mission statement, which I will now read. We are dedicated to a single purpose: empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. We accomplish this by ensuring that veterans and their families can access the full range of benefits available to them, fighting for their interests of America's injured heroes on Capitol Hill, and educating the public about the great sacrifices and needs of veterans transitioning back to civilian life. Providing free professional assistance to veterans and their families in obtaining benefits and services earned through military service and provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs and other agencies of government. Providing outreach concerning its program services to the American people generally and disabled veterans and their families specifically. Representing the interests of disabled veterans, their families, their widows, spouses, and their orphans before Congress, the White House, and the judicial branch, as well as state and local government. Extending DAV's mission of hope into the communities where these veterans and their families live through a network of state-level departments and local chapters. Providing a structure through which disabled veterans can express their compassion for their fellow veterans through a variety of volunteer programs. I now declare this meeting open for the transaction of such business as might rightfully come before it. Comrade Adjutant, will you call the roll of officers?
Thank you, Comrade Commander. Commander Tom Wendell.
Present. There's $5.
Senior Vice Commander Tanya Colbert.
Present.
First Junior Vice Commander Shamala Capizzi.
Here.
Second Junior Vice Commander Anna Lutz.
Here.
Treasurer Kathleen Schultz.
Here.
Chaplain is currently open. Immediate Past Commander Erwin Schultz.
Here.
Longest serving ever. Chapter Department Executive Committee Member Tom Wendell.
Present.
Alternate Department Executive Committee Member Shane Lehrman. Present. Officer of the Day Jim Anders.
Present.
For the first time in over a year, Sergeant at Arms Joe LaHaye. Judge Advocate Erwin Schultz.
Yeah, still here.
Benefits Protection Team Leader Jesse Bendahan is excused. Adjutant Shane Learman present. Chapter Service Officers, the only one I see present online is Fred Skaggs. And Assistant Adjutant Jeremy Yost.
Present.
We have a quorum, Comrade Commander.
Outstanding.
We will go ahead and read, as a reminder, we are recording this entire meeting as a video online. So before you speak, please make sure you identify who you are so it's picked up by the microphone. I'm just going to go through the members we have with us today in person. This is the most in person in a year and a half. Gary Salpini, Joe LaHaye, Tom Wendell, Jeremy Yost, Jim Anders, Jerry Kristen from Nebraska, Shane Lehrman, Robert Sanders, new member, Shamala Kapizi, Anna Lutz, Tanya Koper, Kathy Schultz, Erwin Schultz. And online, let me just double check real quick. Online with us this morning, we have Reverend John Hoffman, B. Stevenson from the Chapter 10 Unit Auxiliary, John Berger, and Fred Skaggs. Those are all the members present this morning, sir.
I think technology is getting Gary. He doesn't know how to silence his phone.
Trying to get it turned off.
All right, in reference to our minutes, the May 15, 2021 meeting was recorded and posted to the chapter YouTube channel, website, and included in the recent newsletter. I move that we accept as recorded and posted.
Immediate pass, seconds.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
The ayes are above the nose. Yay! Leighton would be so proud.
We've been running that joke since I was commander. That is awesome. What's that been, 10 years now?
10 years, and it's been
Or
large
longer,
motion
probably.
ever made at the meeting, always has that.
Now we will have the treasurer's report from our chapter treasurer, Kathleen Schultz.
I have to admit, this has been the easiest year for finance that I've ever done. This is the finance report for the period of May 1st to the 31st. Our beginning balance was $18,471.52. We had no income reported at the bank. And we wrote one check on the 17th of May to Tom Wendell for the luncheon for line officer installation. It was check 4777 for $224.20, leaving us an ending balance of $18,247.32. As you can see, it matches the bank statement. And that is my report. I make a motion that you accept the finance report as given, subject to audit.
Adjutant Shane Lerman, second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Comrade Treasurer. All right, our chaplain's report. I know of a few that are still recovering right now. Actual Chaplain John Hoffman, glad to see you on there with us today. you're definitely looking good, recovering from your surgery. So hopefully things are continuing to improve as you move along. But I'm glad to see you're at home. And we also have Fred Skaggs. He's had a few surgeries recently, so please continue to keep him in your prayers as well. Fred, great to have you today. And Jim Anders continues to recover from his surgeries. And Jim, outstanding that you're here today. Thank you very much. And continued prayers for your recovery as well.
Thank you.
Is there any other sickness and distress that I did not note?
Paul Shook's surgery went very well and he's recovering.
Okay. Jeremy Yost reports that former Chapter 10 member Paul Shook, his surgery went well, and he's recovering well. So thank you very much for that, Jeremy. So I ask that you continue to keep these members in your prayers, and thank you very much for that. Comrade Adjutant, do we have any communications?
We got a couple. We got one or two there, Comrade Commander. The DAV National Convention this year on July 29th will be a day of inspiration. It'll be an entire day of speakers, inspiration, disabled veterans and leaders talking about overcoming their disabilities and their triumphs. It will be at the National Convention in Orlando. However, I believe it will be streamed online on DAV.org as well. So if you're not able to make the National Convention, you'll be able to watch it from the comfort of your own smartphone, Gary. We also received a request correspondence from the Virginia Circle of Heroes. This is from the Virginia Veterans Service Foundation. They sent a letter to you, Comrade Commander, asking for a donation and becoming a member of the Virginia Circle of Heroes. You will be a part of an extraordinary group of donors. They said that 100% of all their contributions to the Virginia Veterans Service Foundation go directly to assisting veterans in crisis, and not one penny is used for anything else. So we received that correspondence, and we've also received correspondence from the national organization. If I can find it, maybe if we had an organized adjutant, we wouldn't have these issues. Here it is. DAV's national adjutant, Mark Burgess, sent us correspondence to let us know they're building a brand new headquarters outside of Cool Springs, Kentucky. And as part of that, DAV is creating an honor garden. And in that honor garden, you can purchase a commemorative paving brick in honor of anyone we want it to be. For an additional gift of $25, you can also receive a photograph of your personalized brick, as well as an official DAV certificate of appreciation suitable for framing. Bricks purchased by August 1st will be inscribed and installed in time for the new national headquarters building dedication in late September of this year. We can pick someone that we want to honor or remember as being on that brick. We can feature their name and their branch of service. Something that we can discuss. But it doesn't say the price.
It said online.
But it is online.
Online, but we got emails on that through work.
Right.
I think a brick is $500.
$500. And I was going to say, if we are considering, our Assistant Adjutant Jeremy Yost is going to look it up. But if we are going to consider doing it, I would consider the person that we might want to honor on that would be, I didn't even have to get the words out. Former adjutant, former chapter, former Department of Virginia Veteran of the Year, former commander of the Department of Wyoming, John had a lot of hats, John Mackey.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's hard to talk about.
it is.
Yes.
So Jeremy is looking up to see if we can get the amount, but it would be, as everybody's already indicated, a great thing for us to honor John Mackey.
Are we gonna bring that up in new business?
Yes, we'll bring it up.
We'll bring it up in new business while we look up the pricing to make sure, so we'll go ahead and move on. Those are all of the communications I have this morning, Comrade Adjutant. Commander, I'm the adjutant.
500. Thank you very much for doing that. All right, committee reports. BPTL, he's not here today, but in reference, we do have a follow-up later on in the slide that is going to talk about the BPTL, so we will discuss that as we get to that. Service officer. After the last meeting, we did assist one member in reference to that. Now, one thing that is coming up is there is going to be a online, it's not online, it's in person, isn't it? A chapter officer training in July?
No, it's in line.
It's online? Okay. So there's going to be an online chapter service officer training, but that is only for someone that's never participated in it before. It's for brand new chapter service officers. So like we noted in the last meeting, if there's anyone that is interested in becoming a chapter service officer, please see myself or Adjutant Learman after the meeting, and we'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. Then at that point, we would put you in for that training so you can participate in that online training. But for those that are already chapter service officers, your credentials are going to continue to be valid for the next year. So you do not have to repeat the training currently. We will inform you once that occurs. But as of right now, the national organization has informed us that your credentials are good for another year. Membership. Currently, the national organization has created a new membership system. The new membership system is not fully running yet. I can go on and see our chapter membership, but I can't go on and find out what our current goal is. I can't see how many new members we've had. These are things I can't see right now. I actually called National 3 days ago, and I was informed that they can't pull those reports for us right now until they're finished updating the new membership system. So hopefully by our next meeting, that will all be accomplished, and I'll be able to present you with those reports. And also I'll be teaching our Senior Vice Commander, Tanya Colpert, on how to utilize that website and the new system. So that'll be something here in the future. Women veterans, Tanya or Shamla, anything, or Anna, anything new?
The 23rd, I think, is the Virginia Women's.
Yeah, we'll have a slide on that, so we'll be discussing that here shortly. Great.
Outstanding. For those of you who may not have heard, we'll be talking about the Virginia Women Veterans online event, 23rd and 24th, and First Junior Vice Commander Shamala Capizzi is already registered and will be participating for Chapter 10.
Social media.
We do social media stuff good.
Nice try. Nice try.
If you take a look at Chapter 10's Facebook page, we made a ton of updates in the last month. You will now find every meeting for the rest of the year as an event on our events on the Facebook page. You will also find every commander's check-in and chat as an event on our Facebook page. You will also find every cleaning of the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial volunteer project that we're doing on there as well. So our Facebook page has been fully updated with all the upcoming events throughout the end of the year. Chapter 10's website has been vastly updated and improved. Senior Vice Commander, I'm sorry, I drew a blank. Tanya Coppert has been assisting in that. There's a lot of new changes. And if you forget a link for a meeting and you don't know where to find it, it's all now on our website. If you haven't been to the website, it's DAV Chapter 10 VA.org, right? That sound right? Anybody else know? You know what? I've even got it written down here somewhere.
That'll get you to it.
Yeah.
That'll get you there. So we have a lot of stuff updated there. So we have a lot of information on the website. And if you're following us on Facebook, we have a ton of information there. And you can also follow us on Twitter. We have a huge Twitter presence as well, and there's tons of information we're putting out through Twitter. And then if we want to throw in our chapter newsletters and reminders, those are being sent out on a regular basis. I want to thank Assistant Adjutant Jeremy Yost for helping out on those. He wrote and released the most recent after action report a few weeks ago. We just did the newsletter earlier this week, and we'll be sending out reminders next week for some of the upcoming events. And I'll stop there, Comrade Commander.
And just so you know, there are a couple other things. We are on Instagram as well. I don't do a lot on Instagram, but I do post it from time to time. And then we also have a presence on LinkedIn. And, you know, we've been getting a lot of people's interest on LinkedIn in reference to some of our cleanings and some other things. So, you know, LinkedIn is another avenue that we've been able to share some of our social media. So once again, thank you very much, Adjutant Learman and Tanya and Jeremy, for all your assistance with our social media.
Also, we have our own YouTube channel. And the reason we're on YouTube, it's the second largest search engine in the world. So we have a presence on there. Every video, all of these meetings, they're all on our YouTube channel as well as on our website. So you can find our information in multiple places.
Outstanding. All right. Fundraising, anything new, Kathleen? Nope. Budget and finance, we've already heard our treasurer's report. In reference to our audit committee, we do need to elect the audit committee for our upcoming audit. So it's normally 3 people, correct, Kathleen? Our audit committee is normally 3.
3 people and 1 of them is the chair.
1 includes the chairman, so you just need 2 more.
No,
I need a chair.
Oh.
I can't be.
She can't be on the
I can't be on
committee.
the committee.
Right. All right.
It's going to be easy. There's going to be 10, 11 items. We should be able to check it.
So I need 3 volunteers to be on the audit committee. I have 1, 2, 3. I have Anna Lutz, Jeremy Yost, and Tanya Culper. Thank you very much for volunteering.
And this is in reference to our requirement every year by the national organization to fill out and complete an AFR, an annual financial report. This committee will be reviewing our AFR to make sure everything jives with the numbers provided by the chapter treasurer.
That could be just appointed, or do I have to vote on
Just to make sure.
it? So right now, I'd entertain a motion to have Tanya Culper, Jeremy Yost, and Anna Lutz as our audit committee.
Immediate pass, so moves. Yeah, Gary will second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Comrade Adjutant.
No, thank you, Comrade Commander.
All you, Comrade Adjutant.
One of the cool things of having some of the people in this chapter that we do, for those of you who don't know, not only is Tom Wendell our commander, but he's also the supervisor of the DAV National Appeals Office at the Board of Veterans Appeals. Jeremy Yost, our assistant adjutant, is the supervisor of the DAV NSO office in downtown DC. And one of our newest members, Shamala Capizzi is our new DAV TSO at Fort Belvoir. I am the Deputy Legislative Director for DAV International Headquarters in downtown DC. So since we have so many of these people here, it gives us an opportunity to provide additional information you may not get other sources. So I'm going to go over a few things real quick that is happening on the national legislative scene for veterans. On the 8th, the president signed the Thrive Act into law. What that is it's to help veterans with an employment and training issues, especially during moments of crisis. So that was just passed. That is going to enhance employment for veterans, service-connected disabled veterans seeking employment, and it's also going to amend portions of the Johnny Isaacson and can't think of the name all of a sudden. Jeez, I'm getting old. One of the bills passed last year that adds more employment services. It's an amendment to those. It's going to increase some opportunities in funding. DAV did support that, and I believe we even sent around an action alert for support on that. So thank you to everybody that was just signed into law recently. VA's proposed budget was just released at the end of May, I believe May 28th. Their budget was released. For those of you who aren't aware, DAV is a part of a coalition with Paralyzed Veterans of America and the VFW, and we make up what we refer to as the independent budget. The three VSOs we put together for the last 33 years, we've been making budget recommendations for the VA for healthcare and benefits. We have already testified on that recently last week, and we will be testifying on that again on June 16th in front of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee this Wednesday at 3 p.m. We will do an after action newsletter in the next couple of days. We try to put links for all of this out there, and DAV, PVA, and VFW will all three have somebody present at the hearing. I'm the scapegoat from DAV, so I'll be there speaking in reference to mostly the benefits portfolio. Now, just a real quick overall, the budget is it's the largest budget proposal ever by the VA. The independent budget and DAV are very pleased with many portions of the budget. There is going to be $17 to $18 billion increases for some of the VHA programs, and they are increasing the Veterans Benefits Administration, adding new employees, and they're proposing 163 new employees for the Board of Veterans Appeals to include 35 new veterans law judges. So a lot of the things the independent budget has been asking for the last several years, we're actually going to be seeing in this budget, and I'll put links and more information for that in the after action. A few other things. Toxic exposures is all the rage these days. There's actually finally a huge momentum and push in Congress this year. As you know, DAV has been advocating for burn pits for a very long time, since 2007. And the Veterans Burn Pit Recognition Exposure Act has been introduced in the House and the Senate. But there's other pieces of legislation out there, and I just want to mention them briefly, and that is the Comprehensive and Overdue Support for Troops, or the Cost of War Act, was introduced in the Senate, passed by a markup hearing on May 26th. It hasn't gone anywhere yet, but the long and short of it is, this will provide health care for veterans exposed to toxins, add hypertension and MGUS for veterans exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam, and it will also add officially Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Guam, and American Samoa as locations of Agent Orange spraying during the Vietnam era. So this bill hasn't moved yet. There are a lot of other pieces to it. The estimated cost is 1.5 trillion, 17 trillion. something like that. It's a lot of money. So they're waiting for some final scores from the congressional budget off before it moves forward. And then there is a similar bill in the House, the Honoring Our Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics, or the PACT Act. Now, as luck would have it, there was just an awesome webinar and video done on this topic yesterday by this guy. So it'll be posted to DAV's website next week. I'll make sure we put a link in it, and I'll run through the whole thing in the video a lot smoother than I would attempt to do it right now. But that information is out there. And if you are looking for additional information, you need to go to DAV's national website. There's a legislative resources page there to where you can find all sorts of webinars and videos done by DAV's national legislative team. There's some on legislative updates on how to prepare and write resolutions for your chapter. We had a recent discussion on the DOD and VA initiatives to address sexual harassment and the toxic exposure bills. You can find all of those videos. They're anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, chock full of information. I'll provide a link to those in the upcoming newsletter so that you can be apprised of any of that additional information. And that'll conclude my interruption on national legislative initiatives going on currently at this time, Comrade Commander.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Adjutant. And for those of you that are not a member of DAV CAN is the Commander's Action Network. And what that does is when Shane talked about alerts that go out, what National will do is when there's a bill getting ready to go before Congress, they want you to be contacting your congressmen and your senators. So they prepare a letter for you. All you need to do is put in your address and everything, and that letter gets sent directly to your congressmen and senators. So there's been quite a few of them come out in the last few weeks. So if you haven't seen them coming to you, then make sure you're going on to DAV CAN and joining. That way you can make sure that you're participating and helping us get those passed.
And so far this year, through the DAV's Commander Action Network since January, I want to thank everybody who is participating. There's been over 160,000 emails sent to our senators and congressmen through DAV's Commander's Action Network in support of legislation that DAV supports. So thank you all. And like Tom said, if you're not a member, sign up. I'll make sure we include an alert in that in the after action. Our assistant adjutant will make sure we get that included as he's writing notes.
And one other person that actually works in my office too, that's, here is Mr. Erwin Schultz. So he's another one of our duty experts that can help us with many things. So
not only is he the longest serving immediate past commander ever, Erwin is a senior national appeals officer at the Board of Veterans Appeals, DAV's National Appeals Office, and Tom's favorite person.
And also our judge advocate. So, all right, unfinished business. All right, the elected position of chaplain is still currently open. If anyone is interested in being our chaplain, please see myself after the meeting. I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you, and then we'll hold a special election when the time is needed. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. Thank you. Our commanders check-in and chat. We will be having one tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Link to join can be found in the Friday's reminder on the chapter website and the Facebook page. Now, in reference to that, it's a very good time for you to just get on there and talk to fellow veterans. We don't always hang around after the meeting and, talk and get to know each other, but over the last year, just doing these commanders check-in and chats, I've learned more about you than I ever knew, before. I mean, some of the stories I've heard Jim Anders tell, Jim's pretty quiet in these meetings, but he's not quiet when we're on the commanders check-in and chat. So I've definitely found out a lot about Jim over the last year, and, he's had some adventures. So, if you've never joined it, come on, join it, check it out. You know, all we're there is, we're not talking about chapter business. You know, we're talking about just running the mill things. You know, sometimes we have a subject. What's your favorite cartoon? What's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite movie? You know, we just to get people talking. But the things you find out about each other is amazing. You know, so please join us. Anything on that, Shane?
No, I think it's been great for a lot of our members, especially we started that in March of 2020, right when the pandemic was hitting everyone. We were doing it actually every Saturday and Sunday for almost a year. We were doing Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday evenings at 7, and we switched it to just Sundays evenings at 7. But I do know this. I do know a lot of our members can't get out for a lot of reasons other than just the pandemic. And the last one we had 2 weeks ago, Jim was there with us, Gary was there with us, I was there, and our former POW, who 96-year-old Jerry Wolf, World War II veteran, he was online talking about ice cream with us, as well as our Reverend John Hoffman, our past chaplain. He logged in from his hospital bed just so he could log in and talk and see our other members and have a little socialization. So I don't think we can ever put enough importance on connecting with each other, especially when we're isolated. So it's been a great run for us. And if you haven't joined, you should. Some people will join smoking cigars. Some join drinking bourbon. I'm looking at you, Jim Anders. And some people will join having a couple sips of wine. So it's a good time. It's a very relaxed. It's just laughing and smiling and talking about good and bad from the week before. So if you get a chance, we'd love to see you tomorrow night at 7.
And one thing in reference to, you know, this meeting, you know, it's great that Chapter 10 and Shane's knowledge of all this social media stuff that has really helped us to be able to share this meeting online and to be able to record our meeting, because like he said, a lot of our members just can't get out anymore. So this is a great opportunity for them to be able to join us. So thank you very much for that, Comrade Adjutant. The Department of Virginia Convention is on June 17th to the 20th at the Holiday Inn in Roanoke. Myself and Adjutant Learman will be attending as our department executive officers and alternate department executive officer. So now every year at convention, there are many committees, you know, that they do fundraising for. These committees, ask for donations. There's two specific ones that I think, you know, affect us more than others. And one is the emergency relief and the other one is the homeless veterans. So in reference to that, you know, I would entertain a motion to do a donation to both of those at the department convention. Therefore, we could get the check from the adjutant today to be able to take it with us next week. Yeah, the treasurer. Sorry.
And just to let you know, these committees are ran by the Department of Virginia DAV, by fellow members, and donations to these committees will help veterans across the Commonwealth, not just in any one location, but any veterans that are in need and chapters can't provide it, they can use the funds we donate to these committees to help veterans in need across the state. Given our current financial situation, which is better than it's ever been, and we are looking at getting our distribution from the national organization within the next month or two, right?
We didn't get one last year. Are they giving one for 2021?
Yeah, there was an email that recently came out that said there would
No,
be.
I didn't get that.
Oh, it was a while ago. We talked about it at a previous meeting.
We'll get it July 1st.
July 1st, we're looking at getting
Usually 8,000.
between 8 and 10, I think, right?
But we have $18,000
Right. So since we're currently sitting on $18,000, which is the most we've had in a long time at any one given point, Comrade Commander made a motion that we donate to each of those committees. I would move that we donate $1,000 to the Emergency Relief Committee and $1,000 to the Homeless Veterans Committee to help our fellow veterans in the state of Virginia.
Can you explain how each of those committees, like how, what that money goes to?
Oh, absolutely. The Emergency Relief Committee in the Department of Virginia, if a veteran is in dire need of rent, repairs on an automobile, mortgage, utility bills, anything that they're in dire need of, the committee will go through everything with them to make sure that there is a genuine need and they don't have any other funds. Then the emergency relief program, either through a chapter or the department committee, can provide them funds for assistance. And generally it's a one-time grant. So it's something that can help them whenever they need it the most. And there are a lot of veterans, as we know, in the state of Virginia that need help. So we would donate it to the committee. The committee would have access to those funds to veterans who have those types of emergencies. And then the homeless veterans can help provide clothing, can help provide temporary shelters, food, anything that they may need on a temporary basis. Now, Virginia has done a very good job of what they say eliminating homelessness. That's only if people can get into the proper places at the right time. There are certain situations where homeless veterans are not able to access many of the shelters and services that are out there. So a donation to that would provide assistance to those sets of veterans who may not have any other options. And all of that money that we would donate to those two committees would be up to the committee to decide on how to utilize for those that come to them for need.
I have a motion from Adjutant Learman in reference to $1,000 to both the emergency relief and the homeless veterans committees. Do I have a second?
Jeremy Pass, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussions on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I think that's the first time Chapter 10 has made a donation to those committees in
No, we did it 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh, I wasn't there. That's right.
We didn't do that much.
we didn't do that much, no. All right. So our voluntary cleaning for the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial, yeah, almost. And Saturday, June 19th. It's very important to remember that date because that's next Saturday. Once again, myself and Adjutant Learman will be at the department convention, so we will not be able to attend. So we're hoping that those of you here can help step up and be there to assist. It's going to start at 7:30 in the morning, and we need about 10 to 15 volunteers. Yes, Gary.
No, if my pulse holds out, I'll be.
And I believe BPTL, Jesse Benahan already indicated he would be there, as well as Bob Whaley, and Tanya will be there as well. Get as many people there as we can. Last month was the first time it's been cleaned since October of 2019. There was a little bit of bird poop out there if you weren't there scrubbing it. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial in DC. It's now 6 years old. It was mostly the brainchild of the Disabled American Veterans National Organization. It's the only memorial in DC dedicated actually to disabled veterans. And we've been volunteered to clean it since 2017. Last year we had to take the year off, so as many people as we can get to help us, please do. I'll send releases out next week that'll have the address. You can park right there at the memorial. There's a handicap parking lot there that isn't used at 7:30 in the morning, and we're allowed to park in there for the cleaning. So if you're able to come down, please do. But as a reminder, there are no bathrooms on the site, so plan accordingly.
And it roughly takes about an hour, depending on how many people show up, but roughly takes about an hour. And for those of you that didn't get our newsletter, or if you did get our newsletter, I hope that you clicked on the video. And there's actually someone there from VA last week, and they did a video of it. Shane did a great job speaking on behalf of the chapter, and the video was very well received. It was put out very well put out across the VA. So it wasn't just a Chapter 10 thing. This thing went all across the VA. So it was put out on a lot of different platforms. So, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, go on there and take a look. And Tanya, I do expect to see Facebook Live presentation with you speaking next week.
At the very least, a video and sending it to me and I can get it uploaded to Facebook.
Might go prefer that.
Yeah.
I can start over.
All right, but hopefully we can have many of you out there next week. And we have on LinkedIn, we've had a lot of different people that have expressed interest in coming out. So hopefully some of those entities will be out there as well. A few fraternities and other people have expressed interest. So hopefully we'll have some others out there as well.
Professional staffers on Capitol Hill have expressed interest. Members of different committees have expressed interest, as well as veterans who work for several different organizations in DC, and some military fraternities have expressed interest. So we're going to keep spreading the word. I started sharing it on LinkedIn recently, and it's just blown up. So help us spread the word to get as many people as we can, because if we have 20 people there, it's a lot of bit easier than if there's 4 of us, which has happened before.
All right. So as we mentioned earlier, the Virginia Women Veteran Summit is going to be June 23rd and 24th. So First Junior Vice Capizzi has already stated that she will be attending. So thank you very much for that. And if you want to join online, the empowering event that brings together hundreds to raise awareness about the services and benefits offering specifically for women veterans through expert presenters, panel discussions, and partner networking. Have you seen some of the things online recently from DAV and from women veterans? 2 of our actual chapter members, Joy Elam and Ashley Barnes, as they've actually been on some of the panels. They've actually presented testimony. So, some of our own chapter members are present on these. So hopefully you can make it. And just because it's called the Women's Summit doesn't mean that, you as a male veteran can't join on as well. Because, one of the things you have to realize is, you being able to acknowledge what they're going through at the VA medical centers and other things is very important, especially anybody that ever wants to be in service work. You have to be able to understand exactly what our female counterparts are going through as well. So please remember that, just because it says women veterans doesn't mean the rest of us can't join. So thank you. National Convention, July 31st through August 3rd. And so what we have to do is vote the approval of our delegates. And so we put on our, we've already presented our, Jeremy Yost put together our delegate sheet for us. So thank you very much for that, Jeremy. And one thing we need to do is vote on approving that.
We will, just to make sure it's official. I'll go ahead and read through all of the delegate names for DAV's National Convention. These are all members of Chapter 10. Thomas Wendell, Stephen Wolf, Randy Reese, Joy Elam, Chad Mose, Scott Trimarkey, Ashley Burns, Nathan Cheney, Shane Lehrman, Robert Reynolds, past National Commander Robert Reynolds, Todd Hunter, Matt Singh, Tanya Colbert, Shamala Capizzi, Roy Spicer, the hell, Roy Spicer, Jeremy Yost, Anna Lutz, and James Procunior.
So I would entertain a motion to approve those delegates to the National Convention.
I'll make a motion here.
Okay, we got a motion. Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Comrade Commander. We will ensure we get that submitted to the national organization yet this weekend.
Thank you very much. Now, in reference to the commander's designee for convention, our Constitution and bylaws basically states that the commander can go to the national convention and that the chapter would pay for the transportation and lodging and meals. With that, since I'm being paid for by the national organization, since I'm an employee of the national organization, the chapter does not need to pay for me. But if, therefore, that moves down to our senior vice commander, Tanya Culpert. Tanya, are you still planning on attending the national convention?
Yes, I.
Okay. So with that, with Tanya stating that she would like to attend the national convention, then she would become our designee for the chapter. And therefore, I need to entertain a motion to pay Tanya's expenses versus my own.
Immediate pass, so moved.
I have a motion, and do I have a second?
Second, Gary.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Anna, I know that you were thinking of going, were you not? No, okay. All right, thank you very much. Now, one other thing that happens at the National Convention, there is one part of the National Convention in which they do donations to the National Service Foundation and a couple of other programs that DAV has, such as their transportation network and other things. Now, over the years, we've always done a donation to the National Service Foundation in the name of John Mackey. And I would like to continue that. And with our current financial situation, I think we can go above what we've done in the past. And one thing I want you to understand, and we don't spend money just to spend money. Okay, one thing you have to understand, per the Constitution and bylaws, Constitution and bylaws says we cannot keep more than 3 times what it takes us to run our chapter. Okay, so basically 3 years worth. Well, technically, to run our chapter, the only bill we actually have is our storage unit. So we don't pay for meeting here, we have our storage unit bill. So if we don't spend the money, National will tell us how to spend the money. Okay,
We have 10 times the
So-
amount right now.
correct. So we have a lot more than what we are allowed to have. So when I put these figures out, when Shane puts these figures out, we're not doing it just to spend money. Okay, we're doing it because we have to do it. And the programs that we're actually asking to spend money on are very good programs. We would never ask the chapter to donate for anything that we didn't feel was going to help veterans, because that's what our main purpose is. Our purpose is to help disabled veterans. Okay, so with that in mind, and what I would entertain is a $5,000 donation to the National Service Foundation in the name of John Mackey.
Immediate pass, makes that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Gary.
Any questions on the motion?
Just not curious, what have we done in the past?
Pardon me? $1,000 or $1,500?
2015 is what we usually do.
I think one year we-
Expenses over the year, but in view of COVID, we've got an excess. So, yeah, I would definitely approve.
And we also didn't do any last year, right?
Correct. The national didn't happen last year.
And there is Chapter 10 has been recognized by the National Service Foundation for our contributions over the years. We actually have a plaque at the national headquarters with a few stars on it for our contributions to help the National Service Foundation and the service program. It's been something we've been providing for a long time. And just to kind of piggyback on what Tom was saying, the things we are providing donations to are specific to DAV and helping service disabled veterans. So while they are much larger amounts than we've made in the past, I know I'm not the only one getting nervous seeing $18,000 in our account going, oh my God, we got way too much money. We got to get rid of it.
We usually end the year with just under 10,000.
And, you know, you have to spend this, like they said, national, but make sure you do whatever. We spend it, we keep it under that limit, national does not get involved.
Right.
So it's better that we decide what to give it to than national decides.
All right, so no further discussion. So all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone.
I just want to say, we just donated $7,000 to help disabled veterans in the state of Virginia and nationally. That's pretty impressive for what?
Yeah, that's kind of-
New business.
Here we go. I am going to make a motion for new business to do one of those honor bricks for John Mackey.
Is that your motion?
I am making a motion that the chapter pay the $500 with the additional necessary to get a picture for our records and to put on our website and all that. You know, maybe to put as our header on Facebook, who knows? To do the honor brick and all, et cetera, you know, associated costs with that. What is it, 25 for the picture, Shane?
I believe so. So we're looking at $525.
I make a motion to spend $525 on the honor brick for John Mackey at DAV National Honor Garden.
I'll make this motion.
So we have a motion to do a brick for John Mackey to include the amount for the picture. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Tanya Coper, second. Any questions on that motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I would also like to entertain a motion that we consider doing the same for a longstanding member of Chapter 10, one of the original founding members in 1949, Arnold Sells, who was a commander of this chapter, commander of the Department of Virginia, the judge advocate for the Department of Virginia, the chaplain for the Department of Virginia, and Arnold passed just a couple of years ago. But before he did, Arnold was the longest running member of Chapter 10. He'd been a member for over 65 years or 70 years, close to it. So I would make a motion that we consider purchasing an honor brick in honor of Arnold Sells as well, plus the additional $25, and honor a World War II combat veteran who was a founding member of this chapter and who has recently passed. I would make a motion we do the same for him.
So we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second Hannibal.
Tanya seconds. Any questions on that motion? No questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Continue new business. Starting in August, Chapter 10 will be able to provide online training and orientation for all chapter officers and any interested members. So we're going to start online chapter officer training. It's going to give you a history of the DAV. We're going to talk about our Constitution and bylaws. We're going to talk about DAV's Department of Virginia and the NEC district. So should be a good class to give you a lot of information about becoming a leader in DAV. So it's not just for those that are already leaders. If you're interested in becoming a leader in the future, or you just want to know more about DAV and what we do and what Chapter 10 does, then we would entertain that you join that. Now, once we get ready to put that out, it will be on our social media. We will go in our newsletters and tell you the specific time and date and give you the link of that training. So
It'll be broken up over several days. We're not going to do one 8-hour training like we've done in the past in person. We'll break it up over several evenings and maybe on Saturday. And we will record them and make them available on the website as well. So if you're not able to attend in person, we can still have that information available for anybody who's interested in learning more about DAV and Chapter 10.
And it will be good for, future, and if somebody wants to learn a little bit more about how to become a leader, we can send them to our recorded training and they'll be able to go on and look at that. So, taking advantage of social media and everything that we have available to us. So we hope to see many of you there. We don't have dates. We'll probably discuss that as a executive committee to come up with the exact
We'll have
dates.
a date when Shane gets it done and ready to get I mean, let's call it what it is.
Wow. All right. Well, as far as this one, me, Commander Wendell, yes, I am interested in doing an online giving tree for homeless veterans at the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center. So as many of you know, what we did at Christmas time, we basically adopted 2 families. We had those 2 families let us know how many, parents they had, how many children they had, and basically asked for a list of 3 to 5 things that, they needed. And Chapter 10 was able to publish that, and within 48 hours, we had every gift purchased, and what we did was we actually went on to Amazon. We created a Amazon giving tree, and, everyone jumped in. I mean, we had people that were reaching out from Texas, from multiple different states that get our newsletter that wanted to participate in that. So what we're going to do is we are going to reach out to the Washington VA Medical Center, to their homeless veterans coordinator. We're going to get a list of the items that they need. Now, they normally will publish a list. They haven't put it online in a while, but they will put out a list. It will talk, it's going to have undergarments, socks. It's going to have different things on there. So what we're looking at is doing like we did with the Christmas presents. Basically, put a giving tree out there, and any member that wants to, purchase something can. Now, when we get ready to do that, we will look at our finances as well, and maybe DAV will, Chapter 10 will do a donation, to the homeless veterans program at the medical center as well. We did that 2 years ago at our Christmas party. We gave them a donation. So that's something that we would probably look at again, besides trying to help them out with a lot of the items. Because, some things that they don't always put on there, but a lot of especially those that are inpatients, they like crossword puzzle books, they like word search books, things of that nature. So there's many different things that we can think of. And, if there's anybody here that, likes, besides Kathleen, that loves to do her crochet, there's other people that do crochet or afghan or, quilts, those are always things that we could also, look at donating. Yes, Kathleen?
How many would you like?
Believe me, she has more.
50 would not be abnormal,
Okay.
just so you know.
Well, and that's something that we can definitely look at, how many current inpatients they have, because it would be wonderful if we could take one to each inpatient, in the ward that we used to invite to our picnics.
The long-term,
Facility.
the nursing home facility.
Yeah, that would be outstanding. So, but we'll try and get a number on that and let you know.
I mean, I have them from left-hand size that we fit on a wheelchair to almost king-size bed covering the top of it.
And she's got tubs of them, she's got them stacked.
And I know your household just did spring cleaning, so Erwin probably knows how many you have.
No, we were mostly focusing on the yarn. And the nice thing about her doing these is she doesn't brag about my model building.
There you go. So yes, that is something that we are looking at doing. I know I've had a little difficulty recently trying to see exactly who the homeless veterans coordinator was. You know, I know Jeremy's tried, Shamla's reached out, and so we just need to find out who the new coordinator is so we can make sure that we're getting the information that we need. And once we get that, we will be publishing that, and hopefully we get support from everyone here. Plus, I guarantee we're going to get a lot of support from members across the country. And what you want to realize is it's not just members. I mean, a lot of people that get our newsletter aren't members of Chapter 10. It's just they've heard about our newsletter and they enjoy what they see. So a lot of people get our newsletter that aren't members of Chapter 10. So I hope to see your support on that. You know, it's something that we can definitely do locally. And, you know, if you know of something actually, you know, locally within the Arlington-Fairfax area, you know, that's something, you know, we would like to hear as well. If there's something that we can do for disabled veterans in our local community, please let us know so we can definitely step up and try and do that as well. Okay, thank you. Yes, Jeremy.
I think we missed on the Virginia Veterans Service Foundation. Are we going to be donating to them this year?
I don't think it was missed as it wasn't brought up under any of the business.
You're talking about that letter?
Yeah.
And we've not donated to them in the past.
What I would say is, you can make any motion you want, but I would prefer to table that, and I would like to research it before we do any donations to them, because I really don't know what they're asking. It's first. Pardon me? Neither have I. That's why I said I'd like to do the research before I even thought about it.
Yeah, someone's saying they give 100% veterans.
Yeah.
They're located in Richmond, Virginia. They have a website, vvsf.org. I don't believe we've received anything from them previously that I'm aware of. And of course, we need to investigate them before we give, obviously. But remember, we're giving $2,000 to veterans of the state of Virginia already through the committees and then the National Service Foundation. So it's not as if we're not already providing a lot of donations.
Anything under good of the order? All right. So as we voted in our last meeting, we will not be meeting in July. Okay, we have many of us, some of us will be attending the National Convention in July. So our next chapter meeting will be Saturday, August 21st. So now there will be some cleanings between now and then. So keep those in mind. They will be, like Shane said, they're already on our Facebook. They're already out there, but we will be putting out reminders of those. So just because we're not meeting doesn't mean we don't have some other obligations. So, you know, Chapter 10 basically put out to the,
They're all on our website too. So if you go to Chapter 10's website, if you go to events, you will find it there as well. All of the cleanings, all of the meetings, everything coming up for to the end of the year is already on the website, easy to find information.
so Chapter 10 did do a commitment to the National Park Service that we would participate in those cleanings. So please remember those.
Frank or Jim be there Saturday? His name is Jim.
Yeah. James Pierce. James Pierce. Yeah. To my knowledge, he will be. I mean,
That's all I
anything
have.
else? Anybody else have anything for good of the order? Yes, Kathleen.
We will do the audit committee or the audit on the August meeting at the end of
All right.
Okay, you're gonna have like 15.
Anything else under good of the order? No. All right. Comrades, at this time, one minute of silence will be devoted in honor of our departed comrades. May they rest in peace. All right. Gonna give the hand salute. Hand salute. Two. Comrade Chaplain, are you still online with us?
I am still online.
Could you give our closing prayer, please?
Certainly. May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep our hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God, and now, unto the eternal and all-wise Creator of the universe and preserver of our nation, be the honor and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you very much. Comrades, the purpose of our gathering has been accomplished. Before we close, let us always be mindful of the principles for which the organization stands. Comradeship, friendship, loyalty to principle and to our comrades, and devotion to our cause. Thank you very much for attending, everyone.
For those online, I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. So if you all want to chit chat with each other, I'm just going to turn our microphone off on this end. But thank you all for joining us this morning online. We greatly appreciate it.